and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition of the 2025 KungFu Cup StarCraft Evolution number 11. I'm of course your VIP, with me I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all to something a little bit different here. Welcome back to KungFu Cup. This is a tournament, a bi-weekly tournament that does alternate back and forth between StarCraft Evolution and Warcraft 3 Evolution. I say alternate back and forth. Of course, recently, I say recently, over the past month, almost 2 months at this point, the arcade hasn't quite been able to, we haven't been able to update, updates in the arcade any kind of game modes or game maps. So because of that, we have been a little bit stagnant when it comes to any patches or updates for StarCraft Evolution and for Warcraft 3 as well. But regardless, tournaments are still ongoing. We have actually heard, by the way, that when it comes to at least the both teams, when it comes to both Warcraft 3 Evolution and StarCraft Evolution, both teams do have patches ready. they both have some big patches ready. I think from StarCraft Evolution, they specifically said that I think their patch is the biggest one yet. So they've been just kind of like accumulating not just assets to update, but also some other changes as well. So there's a big patch on the horizon once, of course, we are able to update the arcade maps. But until then, or arcade mode. But until then, welcome to KungFu Cup 11. Here we go. We have quite a tournament ready for us here, and we're going to be featuring some old school players. Shout out to F91. F91 and Xiaose, they do often compete in their tournaments whenever they do casts as well. So shout out to F91 for stepping into the ring. But for the very first time here, Scarlett. Now, if you've been watching StarCraft over the past couple of weeks, you will know that Scarlett, I mean, past couple of months, for some greater context, you'll know that Scarlett did step away. Scarlett did go on a big hiatus. I want to say didn't touch the game for 6 to 8 months. Like 6 months. Did step away, basically post EWC. After Esports World Cup, Scarlett did step away. Of course, was focusing on other aspects of her career, of her life, focusing on zero space, for example, and other things among that. And recently came back. Recently, I want to say around a month ago, basically in the lead up to the EWC qualifiers, Scarlett returned and has been on that grind, and has actually been showing up for some of these other tournaments as well, like StarCraft Evolution, which surprises me 100%. Like Scarlett recently returning here, now competing in the Wardy weeklies, in Pegastar Monday weeklies as well, Pegastar Cup weeklies. Likewise in Invitationals, and also now in StarCraft Evolution. Now, I haven't seen Scarlett play StarCraft Evolution before, except for the show match that she had. If you remember, Scarlett and Bjorn, they had a show match. I say show match. They made some content for the YouTube channel for Shopify. Like Shopify Rebellion, they did make some content. Hearthstone, Lambo, Bjorn, and Scarlett. And Scarlett did have a match that she played against Bjorn. And I remember, I think they played that for the first time. This was back in November. Like this was back last year when they had gotten together for DreamHack Atlanta, I want to say. So it's been a while. It's been a while since no, it would have been even before that. But yeah, they met up because they met up before DreamHack Atlanta. This was like maybe a year ago at this point. Yeah, around that. And they were able to create some content together at the Shopify headquarters over in Canada. And yeah, I think that's the only time we've seen Scarlett play StarCraft Evolution. So I don't know what to expect. It's actually similar to Max Pax. Like Max Pax also recently started playing StarCraft Evolution as well for the first time. He got cheesed the hell out by Dark, by the way. He got cheesed the hell out of it. It was like, aye. But we'll see if we can see more of Scarlett than we saw of Max Pax. Just catching up. Yo, to another 6 months, 9 months. What do you mean? Este warehouse. God, thank you so much for subscribing for 9 months in a row. That's a lot of months. Thank you for the support. Good dear friend of the channel, Este warehouse. Thank you. As we're jumping into our initial best of 3, I would imagine ZvZ. Let's go. Depending on what Scarlett plays, of course, they do allow you to race pick when you play Brood War in StarCraft 2. So I'm assuming ZvZ, but we'll find out. Let's step into the ring. Game 1 is going to be on Oceanborn Abyssal Reef. Let's go. Game 1 is going to be on Abyssal Reef. So we jump into our initial best of 3. Also, I kind of glossed over it, but welcome to StarCraft Evolution. StarCraft Evolution is a game mod that does bring together Brood War and StarCraft 2. So this is not your regular 1v1 format, and we will get into it. And yeah, no surprise. This is not going to be a ZvZ, it's going to be a PvZ spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Abyssal Reef. We have the Canadian, typically Zerg, but now Protoss player, the Brood War Protoss for Shopify Rebellion. It is Scarlett. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have her opponent. We have the red Zerg player, the Chinese Zerg, one of the organizers and casters of this event. It is F91 for SC Boy. Here we go. So we have our initial ZVP, and again, I don't really know what to expect out of Scarlett, outside of the fact, again, like, she did play a little bit of StarCraft Evolution previously, and we're going for a cannon rush. Oh boy, it's gonna be a short one. Forge gets thrown down, a probe is across the map. We are getting ready here to lay down those pylons. Cannon rushes are very much so viable here from Brood War Protoss, 100%, especially because I believe pylons are more robust. They're more robust. Pylons, they're a little bit more tankier and more robust than your typical SC2 pylon. So just because they look the same doesn't mean that they are the same. And even the texture is different, by the way. So shout out to the Brood War, or the textures here for the Brood War pylon. The expansion has been thrown. And are we going to commit to this, by the way? Are we just going for a Forge fast expand? Huh. Okay. It is going to be hatch first here out of SC Boy. Oh, yo, shout out to the shark. But yeah, we're just going for a Forge fast expand. We are not cannon rushing, or are we? Oh, I was setting up. We should be setting up here. There we go. The pylons are being thrown down, and we are setting up for the cannon rush here at the natural location. Overlord is moving over. The Overlord will confirm the cannons. Let's go. His spot is confirmed. This is going to be a little bit later here, but it's going to be hatch gas pool. All boys are being pulled. And can we get a good service area here on the pylon, as based on the position here, we can throw down that cannon. Yeah, we can wall up. We can wall up. The probe is in position. The drones, they cannot make it through. And this cannon rush is going to get up. Oh no! Tries to lock him in. Tries to lock in the drones. But last, it is going to be a 2 cannon setup here, 2 pylons as well. There's some decent service area here, but the cannon will complete, and this space is going to be denied. Again, the spawning pool is not done, only halfway. Remember, this was hatch. This was green. This was hatch gas before pool. I should have emphasized that as well. It was a very greedy build, very fast third hatchery. And the cannon will shut this down, zones away the drones. And F91 is in a rough position here. Oh, good. There's a cancellation. Again, a very late spawning pool for F91. He was being so greedy, and he gets punished for it. He is punished. Remember, it was only 2 cannons, 2 cannons, 2 pylons as well, so not the biggest commitment. Behind this, Scarlett is setting up back at home. From here, we'll see what the transition is going to be. Bearing in mind that Stargate openers have been buffed in recent times. There was the buff to the Scout. The Scout used to have pitiful damage when it comes to its anti-ground attack, but was buffed, was increased to be a little bit more viable as an opener to hunt down overlords and also to defend and harass as well. So we could see a Stargate fall off. For the time being, though, Cybercore is still on the way. We're still saturating, still setting up. The cannon will keep Scarlett safe. And for now, we're just going to be droning. Just saturating. There's no crazy aggression. We're no rushing into a Roach Warren or extra gases or a lair. But F91, he does not pull out a gas. Interesting. He doesn't pull out. This tells us the gas has to be for something. Are we going into a fast lair, into something like Nidus play, for example? Are we going into a fast, another form of tech? This has to be spent somewhere. Otherwise, no reason for all that gas. Yeah, I'm looking at this drone. Looking at this drone, there it is. You're going for the Bane Bust. Let's go. Another gas guys are on the way. Again, this is a very early Baneliness. This is typically not seen. And we are going for the bust. We'll see if he can break through. I mean, the wall here is still looking quite sturdy, is what I will say. Yeah, there's a full wall on the left-hand side. Likewise, the Zelda's in position. We have another pylon here to keep everything powered. And going for a Rover opener, most likely into Bay, into Reaver drop. The Overlord does confirm the Robo. Shuttle is in production. Where is that? Yep, where is that Bay? There it is. The Bay is on the way. And Reavers are upon us. Oh, that F91 is going to be supply blocked. With this, he rallies across the map. Does rally across. Oh, this is very tech heavy here. Going for the Bay and going for the Citadel as well. Working towards Zealot legs. Here comes the bust. And Scarlett has no idea. She has no idea what's going on. The Dragoon is quite sturdy. The Dragoon will help when it comes to walling up this area. Thankfully, there's another Zealot as well, but the Banelings, they will have splash damage, shut down both Zealots. Reaver's on the way. Reaver can pull off a defense. The Reaver could shut this down, but it's still just now starting, and the bust is upon us. It's all or nothing here for F91. Supply block! Now is not the time! Yeah, brutal supply block, slows down the reinforcements. More Zerglings on the way. This is going to be delayed. And the Reaver's almost out. Yeah, the Reaver's almost out, and this is hitting so late that by the time it hits, the Reaver's going to be here. And all it takes is a couple of Scarab shots, and the Link Bane all-in will be shut down. Of course, depends on the control. It does depend. Okay, Reaver moves out. Baneling's moving in. Scarlett has no idea. Just now scouts, just that confirms. That's how many Banelings? 17. Jesus. 17 Banelings on the way. And you can see how the Dragoon survives. You can see how tanky the Dragoon is. Oh my god, 17 Banelings. They barely break through the front door, but here comes the Reaver shot. Ooh, it doesn't quite go off. Oh no, there's a Scarab. Oh, there's no Scarab. Yeah, did not make a Scarab ahead of time. Yeah, the Reaver was not ready. Lings, they bust in. Probe's going to be going down. And F91, has he done it? Again, the Reaver wasn't producing Scarabs inside the shuttle. Yeah, it was not producing. Oh god. The Scarab's got a long way to go. Targets the Lings on the other side of the wall. And with that, F91 looks like he has done it. Depowers everything in the main. Against Scarlett, was unable to scout, unable to confirm. And just barely wasn't ready for this. As Lings, they coming from behind. Once again, the Scarab wasn't being produced. Yeah, there we go, now on the way. Now on the way, the wall is broken. Scarab shot, a slightly better connection. Yeah, better connections here. But the Lings, they should overwhelm. And the Reavers are still a problem, though. Is everything in main? Gonna be falling. You're denying Zealot legs. Let's go. Zealot legs should be denied. Oof. Shot going off. Brutal connection on the Zerglings. But from here, F91 can drone. From here, he should be droning. I'm concerned, 27 workers. He's still not. He's working towards a Spire, working towards extra Queens to defend against the drop play. F91 doesn't break through the wall. I feel like he could have. Like, these pylons are low. Like, we don't need Banelings for this. Could have broken through. And F91 still not droning. And despite having the Spire, there's not really much resources here for Mew to play. Shuttle moves out. Second wave is on the way for F91. Getting ready for that second bust. He's got to go. Longest goes on, the worse is going to be for F91. Yes, Scarlett is on one base, but still is rebuilding, re-expanding. Has a superior economy. Shuttle races back home. Here comes the bust. There's a second wall. And second wall behind this does break through. Oh no! Ooh, brutal connection. And Scarlett holds. Yeah, Scarlett does hold. The one Scarab shot, all you need. Meter production has begun, but the droning here is so delayed for F91. Ay. Just so late droning here. Drone does come in. Gets a drone. Muters are revealed. Remember, there's no recall. Yeah, there's no recall. Oh, the Queens! Nice cleanup. Very nice setup here. F91 does defend, but the drone count is still lacking. Still has to re-drone behind this, going into double Stargates. Okay. From here, it can go into Mass Corsair. Scouts, this early on, they have their place. The meter count is very low. Can work towards that. Meanwhile, cannons. Gee, there are just so many cannons here in the main base and the natural as well. A very chaotic game. I still want to give the edge to Scarlett for the time being, at least until F91 is able to join up. Let's move to hit the main. Oh, not bad. Hit the main base. And they're not going to get too much damage here. They do focus down the initial cannon. Of course, their production has begun. F91 still droning. Still droning up. And is now finally taking gases. Okay, so gases are on the way. The cannon rush is still here. The cannons are still denying any expansion, forcing F91 elsewhere. There we go. And so we'll finally be cleaned up. Ooh, may lose the Muta. Muta goes down. LA reaction. Not a bad trade. Now, my concern here for F91 is that he is still committing into Muta play, whereas Corsairs shut Mutas down so hard. For those that are curious, for those who are maybe unfamiliar with the unit dynamic, Corsairs do splash damage. They do all it takes here. You can take down a cloud of Mutas with like 5 to 6 Corsairs. Like, the amount of damage they do is insane. You don't even need mass Corsair, just a handful of Corsairs, and you're good to go. And there's only 8 Mutas. There's more than enough. There's more than enough Corsairs already. So Corsairs are, I would say, a hard counter to mass Muta. More so than Phoenixes. Like, Phoenixes, you can out-control them, right? You can, like, you can try to micro against them and try to catch them out. Corsairs, less so. As they're hunting down Overlords. Muta's not out. They kind of fight this head on. We do try to split towards the end. Okay. That means I have to pull away. Yeah, they have to pull away. Have to back off. More Corsairs are amassing. Personally, I would love to see a ground. I mean, we are switching to ground here with Zealot legs. True. We have the Temple Archives as well, so we're working towards Archons and towards Storm. Just working towards it. We have 13 Mutas on the way. We're up to already up to 9, soon to be 11 course. Jesus. Oh no. Use, okay, we have Corruptors. Okay, we have some Corruptors. That will help. Storm is on the way. F91, he has drawn up quite nicely here. Oh. Can't Scar here. Shasta back off. Shasta back off. Bleeds off 1, 2, 3 Corsairs. Oh, a lot of Corsairs going to be going down. Not a bad catch here for F91. Not bad at all. Getting every single Corsair. Okay. That's what, 9 Corsairs. Oh, and there's no Storm. Okay, there's no Storm behind this. Scarlett a little bit too cavalier with all those Corsairs. Got caught out in the open. Now, Scarlett can fight together here with Storm. I mean, I say with Storm. Storm isn't done. Storm is still not yet done here. I'm still not convinced by the mass Muta, by the way. No. I mean, maybe I have no faith in the ability to split here for F91. Maybe. We'll see. We'll find out. As soon as they rotate over. Oh, I think Scarlett has stopped Corsair production. We still have 6. That's fine. I stopped Corsairs. Going into Dark Archons, working towards Maelstrom. Muta's making the way into the main. Nice kiting. And initially, nice kiting. Muta's going to be zoned away. And again, I do like this a lot more here for Scarlett. So using Corsairs as more of a supportive unit, not massing it. And switching into Maelstrom. Those who are curious, this is an AoE stun. It's like an AoE stun. And you can go for the 1-2 punch of Maelstrom, then Storm. And there we go, the Dark Archons are on the way. Bearing in mind that Maelstrom only works on biological units, so it's ideal against Mutas. Ideal against Bio. Does not work against Mech. Dark found that out the hard way. Oh, nice catch on the Corsairs. Gets one. Oh god. But this is what I mean. You kind of fight this head on as the mutas, they just melt here. Ay. That was 13. That was 13 mutas for 5 Corsairs. And the muta cloud is non-existent. Now the mutas they're a non-issue. The mutas are now a non-issue. What do we have on the ground? Okay, we have a reinforcing wave of mutas, and we have quite a lot of Lingbane. I would be a little bit more convinced by this if we were taking a bit of Hive into Ultras. Looks like the Hive is in production. Here comes the next wave of muta. Meanwhile, Zealot Rabbi on the way. Now Scarlett did not rebuild those Corsairs, but is looking for that Maelstrom. Looking for that Sun. Again, mutas, they cannot fight the main army. They have to skirt around. Oh. You can see Scarlett trying to... the army's actually quite clunky here. Trying to get into the main. Ooh, nice Maelstrom. The range. Oh my god. as the army gets stunned down. Yeah, it is locked down here. Brutal Storm as well. And half the mutas do fall. Ay. That was insane range with the Maelstrom, by the way. That was like half a screen away. Jesus. At the same time, as legs, they do take down the mineral line. The chargers, I should say. Speed locked. And that was an expensive trade here. That was what? That was 8 mutas going down. It's for a High Templar. They did trade back and forth when it came to workers. Scarlett ready for another Maelstrom. It is ready. Ultra Cavern has begun for F91, but again, it's a late Ultra Cavern. And the drone count is still very low. Everyone does back up. What did they say in fights? For those that are curious, I mentioned this earlier, I'll reiterate again. This is the first time Scarlett's competing in a StarCraft Evolution tournament. So there's a high, obviously, like there are certain compositions or like there are certain strengths of units that are otherwise going to be a little bit newer. A little bit of a newer experience. There's a little bit less experience with them, so maybe not as aware of certain strengths of certain unit compositions. But I mean, so far this is solid, right? Like so far. We have our spellcaster, we have our storm, we have Maelstrom pushing in. Personally, because of how heavy the muta count is, I would prefer some supportive Corsairs with this. But I mean, Storm will just chew through everything. I mean, it may not matter. Oh god. A lot of this will come down to the ground army. Like if the Lingbane can get on top of the Head Templar before the Storms can connect with the mutas, then this can work. Comes down to can F91 deal with those High Templar? Both armies are maxed. Scarlett is somewhat super maxed with a lower probe count. A larger ground army. Scarlett moving in. And more Dark Archons. Bearing in mind, you can stun everything. You can stun the Lingbane, you can stun the mutas. Likewise, if you recall, Ultras cannot be stunned. They do have the Frenzy ability. Oh no! Oh, massive connections! And that is what he was looking for. F91 takes down the High Templar. That was 4 or 5 High Templar going down. High Templar has reset. No more storms. Now's the time. Yo, we send it. Send it, Bappy. There's no more storm. There's no more storm. We can send it. Ay. I mean, the Archons, sure, there is some splash damage here, but it's mainly the Archons, and of course the Dark Archon with their stun. Speaking of, there it is, stun on the Banelings. But again, remember, the Ultras cannot be stunned. We do have some reinforcing High Templar. We get some storms on the Ultras. Ooh, another stun on the meter. High Templar are going down. That was the final storm. Oh my god, the army melts. Jesus. With that, Scarlett does hold. Scarlett does hold, shuts down the Ultras. We have 7 more Ultras on the way. Yo, going for mind control. Let's go. We can mind control the Ultras. Actually, wait, can I think? I guess you would be able to, right? I believe. I don't know if the frenzy ability also covers mind control, to be honest. It wouldn't, I would imagine. Here we go. We do catch out. We do try to catch out some of the Archons. Brutal stun once again on the mutas. And the mutas are going to be resets once again, losing every single muta. And the corruptors as well. I mean, they didn't have much value anyway. Scarlett is pushing forward. Scarlett moving in, still has a couple of storms behind this. The Dark Archons are out of energy, so they cannot mind control, they cannot Maelstrom, but they don't need to. They don't need to. The Archons, they force their way in. We have 7 more Ultras on the way. Gonna be 14 Ultras. That's a lot of Ultras. And you see F91 getting ready for this round. Trying to set up. Down those rocks. We'll see. Can we mind control Ultras? Not quite. Yeah, not quite here. Ultra's gonna be going down. Catching out 3 at the same time. Jesus, Zealot Rambai popping off 32 drone kills. Oh my god. And they do pop off. Main army does push in. Taking down more Ultras. And the Ultras, they're just trickling in. They're just trickling in one at a time. Oh, they do get a High Templar. Okay. High Templar goes down. Meanwhile, we do see 21 more drones falling. The Zealot Rambai popping off. And killing everything. Just crippling F91. Pulling them apart. Just crippling F91. And Scarlett back at home, just massing up more Zealots. More Charge Lots. More Dark Archons. Unfortunately, you never did quite see the mind control come into play. Feels bad, man. But GG gets called, and Scarlett will overwhelm. Scarlett takes game number 1. Whew, GG. Scarlett does take lead in the series. Again, a very intense back and forth. F91 honestly did quite well with the initial Bane Blast. Was able to cripple Scarlett, kill the main base, get into the main, and deny upgrades as well. Like, it was a very successful all-in initially, but if you recall, it took a long time for F91 to actually drone up, to decide to saturate his bases. It took a long time, and on top of that, as we saw, I wasn't really convinced by the mass muta. What did the mutas get done? They killed a handful of probes. That's all they really got though. Like, they were never really a main part of the army. They never really overwhelmed or crippled Scarlett. There was that one time where the mutas killed, I want to say 16 probes, but if you remember, as that was happening, there were like 14 drones going down across the map to a Zealot Rambai. So in the end, like, Scarlett did equalize that damage. Yeah, going to mass muta. It's one of those things where I would say that Brutal Protoss has, do I want to say better tools, or do I want to say, like, they have a stronger hard counter to mass muta? Like the StarCraft 2 counterpart that's meant to be Storm Phoenix, the reality is that Phoenixes, they can be miscontrolled. We've seen them miscontrolled all the time when it comes to mutas trying to juke them out and then closing that distance and shutting down the Phoenixes, right? It's like, so Phoenixes can be shut down a little bit harder. Here, the big difference for Brutal Protoss is Maelstrom, right? The fact that they can completely stun and lock down a flock of mutas, like, it completely nullifies like the strength of mass muta. Like, one small mistake and bam, you lose everything. You lose everything to that stun, to that Maelstrom. So it does feel like mass muta is, I would say, either less viable, or the window in time where mass muta is viable is much shorter, right? It's much smaller here, where you have to rely on catching your opponent off guard. You have to rely on catching them unawares, and once they realize what's happening, then you gotta get the hell out of muta. You gotta get the hell out of mutas and switch faster into your ultra tech, into your spellcasters, into something different here. Regardless, GG. Regardless, GG well played. With that, Scarlett does take a lead, and we are now getting into game number 2. Going to be loading into Lost Temple. Let's go. One of the old Brood War maps. Let's go. Again, shout out to those working behind the scenes on KungFu Cup. They do have their own map pool separate from StarCraft Evolution League. It's a separate map pool, featuring some of these much older maps. Sometimes not the most balanced, by the way. But here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Lost Temple. We have the Canadian Protoss player, the StarCraft 2 Protoss. Okay, so playing Protoss with Broodor and StarCraft 2. No Zerg. Fair enough. For Shanghai Rebellion, it is Scarlett. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have our opponents. We have the interesting. We have the Teal Terran player. We have the Brood War Terran from the land of China. Representing SC Boy, it is F91. So played SC2 Zerg and Brood War Terran. Meanwhile, Scarlett playing Protoss on both races for both Brood War and SC2. And welcome one and all to Lost Temple. Lost Temple is one of the more interesting maps in the map pool. It is a 4-player spawn map. You can spawn in here, top left, just on the right, bottom left, and over here on the right as well, on the left as well. Now, because of this, we have seen a lot of RNG. Basically, you can spawn here. Hold on. You can spawn right next to each other, whether it's up here or whether it's top right corner as well. And we have seen players just die to the first Reaper. Like, like close spawns on Lost Temple is straight up imbalanced, like 100%. Like it should not happen. It should not happen. I don't know how much longer Lost Temple is going to stay in the map pool, and we can see Scarlett is searching for SC Boy. Remember, 4-player spawn map, so Scarlett is searching for her opponent, checking the close by air location. But we have seen Beyond, for example, just open Reaper, just go from here to here, and then just kill. because the Reaper hits so quickly. It's insane. So close locations are very, very intense and very chaotic. We do have cross spawns though, so bear that in mind. We do have our initial opener here, Racks Expand out of F91, going for the faster factory, not going for the 3 racks. Okay. I don't know if F91's too familiar with the current meta, but 3 racks have been very trendy, very popular. Otherwise, this could be racks into factory, into a second factory, into mech, into massive vulture. That's also quite viable here. You can see Scarlett still looking for F91, and will eventually find F91 in the right-hand corner. Meanwhile, F91 does find Scarlett immediately. Scout does find her. We also have an island here, bottom right. We have islands in the corners of the map that might come into play, but I'll be honest, typically these games do last a little bit shorter, but we'll see. We'll see if we are able to get that far into the game, as we have a Twilight Council opener out of Scarlett. Does open Twilight Council, working towards, I would imagine, Blink. You know, the probe is zoned away. Probe is zoned away. SC Boy going for a faster third. Uh-oh. Interesting. And there it is, second factory. So F91 is going into mech, but I would have assumed this was going to be a machine shop here for spider mines or for ion thrusters, and to go into mass vulture. This is a more of a traditional form of mech, going into early, or going for a bit of everything here, going for tank and going for vulture as well. This is a little bit split. This doesn't feel as cohesive, but it's coming together slowly. There's spider mines. Bearing in mind that tanks do need to research siege mode to actually be able to siege up. They have to learn how to siege. So without that upgrade, they are going to be stuck in their normal state. Default state. Oh, the sound of that lifting. It's so nostalgic. Oh my god. Ah. Feels Brood War, man. Behind this, we have a third factory on the way. Likewise, we have a gateway explosion here, going up to a 4-gate setup. Okay, 4-gate Link Stalker, a hyper aggression out of Scarlett. The goal here would be to try to break the defensive setup here and try to either hit the natural or bypass natural into the main. Ooh, F91 is getting ready for that though. Spider mines are being laid, covering the entirety of the main base. F91 turtling up. Siege mode is still being researched. Stalker's breaking in. Boys are here to repair. Boys are here. Oh. As they poke in, they go for the tank. Ooh, and the tank is going to be targeted down. Massive pickup. 2 more tanks to arrive. But regardless, still a better trade for Scarlett. Scarlett doesn't lose a single stalker. Okay, siege mode is done. Dropping into the main. There is a spider mine. Up. Oh, but is targeted down just in time. Bearing in mind, spider mines, they do unbar. Oh no! Oh my god, bro, connection. Jesus. Oh my god. Takes the spider mines to the face. Nice. Oh my god. Not like this, Pappy. Not like this. Oh my god, that was 2 spider mines, 9 stalkers going down. F91 with the read. Again, set this up well ahead of time. The minefield. Last Scarlett doubles down. Behind this is expanding. Okay, behind this does throw down a 3rd. So the goal for Scarlett now turns into contain, no longer break. Should no longer be here to try to make this position. Meanwhile, F91 looks like he wants to move out here. Does not siege up those tanks. I'm hoping he realized that he has research siege mode. Like, he can. Hoping he does realize. Stalkers headed towards the main. Barely within range. It's nice with the mines. It does get into the minefield. And F91 still rotating with the entirety of the army. Likewise, this SimCity here is making it a little bit awkward to go through. Bearing in mind, remember, depots do not land, or they do not burrow. They don't flatten in Brood War. As Scarlett does drop into the main, going for Zealot, going for the Stalker drop. At the same time, F91 does commit across the map. Okay, it's all or nothing. SCVs are going down, and we're going for the 2 base all in. The boys are being pulled. The 3rd base is going to be more of a distraction. Ideally, F91 wants to focus on the natural, wants to go for the kill. No spider mines are set. Ideally, there we go. We do. Oh, okay, we're trying to. Getting a little bit awkward. Thanks to siege, we got to keep going. Again, this 3rd base does not matter, as F91 is losing workers back at home. Losing any kind of mining. Nexus goes down, but really that's just buying time for Scarlett to just have extra warp ins. Charge is complete. And Scarlett just waiting for the move out. Setting up for the surround. Yeah, true, no anti-air. True, no anti-air. Oh, yeah, can't force splash damage. Takes out one of the tanks, takes out almost another. Trying to drop once again. Is trying to. Archon does tank. Ooh, Stalker's able to blink in. Not ideal. Yeah, rough blink there from Scarlett. But again, the lack of anti-air can be abused here. Yo, do we go for the warp in on the army? Do we? F91 pushing in. Yep, there's a we can warp in on top of the tanks. Up, he's going for it. Warp in Dark Templar actually. Oh no. No scan. No scans! Yeah, there's no compensation. Wow, 0 scans. The DTs, they're gonna end the game. F91, he had potential here. He had potential. He was getting ground. He was pushing in, but the DTs, they will kill everything. They will kill everything. Ay, ay, ay. 0 scan. Oh my god. Turrets do not finish. Spider-Man's going off, dealing friendly fire. And it's all or nothing for F91. And again, he had potential. He was doing it. Here comes the warp in. And Scarlett will hold. Scarlett will hold. For those that are curious, you do need a comsat station to scan in Brood War, and there's no station. There's nothing. There's just no way to scan. And there it is. GG gets called, and Scarlett will take the series 2-0. Advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played. Yeah. You do have to jump through some hoops to go into scan. As a reminder, sorry, to wind it back a little bit here, in Brood War, to actually create a comstat station, to actually have the ability to scan, it's an add-on on the CC, you need an academy. You need an academy as a prerequisite to actually make that comstat station. And if you're going mech, especially if you're unfamiliar with Brood War, there's no reason to make an academy, right? An academy, for those who are curious, that's how you get stim, right? That's how you get stim, that's how you research bio upgrades, that's how you get into firebats and medic production. Like, it's very much so like a bio-oriented like tech structure. So if you're playing mech, and especially if you're a little bit unfamiliar, like there's no reason to have that building except for a comstat station, except for scans, and that kind of did slip by F91's mind. Didn't have that ready, didn't have that kind of contingency available, and with that, GG, well played. With that, Scarlett does shut down the all-in with those Dark Templar. GG. Meanwhile, a shout out to Acres de Cruz, papi. Oh my god, thank you so much for subscribing for 5 months. That's a lot of months, almost half a year of support. Thank you so much for the support. Do appreciate it. As we are following Scarlett into the quarterfinals. Let's go. Let us go. Let's switch our scenes over and catch up on the bracket itself, catch up on our round of 8. Here we go. We have our top 8 players here for the KungFu Cup. We have from the top Spirits. Once again, it's always great to see Spirit. I see Spirit versus Iceland. Iceland also had a really good performance previously, not in StarCraft Evolution, but in Warcraft 3 Evolution. So we'll see how Iceland does compete, how he does perform. I believe Iceland is also a streamer / content creator. He was also hosting his own tournaments not too long ago. So you have Spirit versus Iceland, we have Firefly versus TOP or Kiwian, we have Scarlett versus Rebellion, and we have 3-Point versus his opponent as well. So this week there's no Björn, this week there's no big heavy hitter that we otherwise would expect. So we'll see how our players do perform here, as up next is going to be Scarlett's greatest challenge. Up next, Rebellion has been lying in wait. So up next is going to be Scarlett versus Rebellion. Rebellion is very well versed in StarCraft Evolution, potentially even competing more in StarCraft Evolution tournaments than in StarCraft 2 tournaments nowadays, but has been competing and devoting a lot of time. I do think that Rebellion is going to be a tough opponent, but the question also becomes, Scarlett, does she even play Zerg, right? It's like Scarlett just played pure Protoss against F91. Is that going to continue? Are we just going to commit to pure Protoss, or do we switch into Zerg? Like right now, the bracket does say Zerg here, but you know, we're assuming that she's playing Zerg, but we'll see. We'll find out. We will find out. So getting to the next game.